Price of a Rose. Chapter 13. The last few days have exhausted me, yet I can't sleep. I'm excited, terrified, hopeful, yet prepared for the worst. Tomorrow is the big wedding day, and when the last petal will fall. I tuck my knees closer to my chest as I stare out the library window. This little nook has always been my favorite place, even when I don't plan on reading. It has a beautiful view of the grounds, and it is the spot where I discovered Shane's secret meetings with the stable boys. Can't sleep? Shane's red figure appears by my feet, taking up the rest of the window seat. I shake my head, praying that he'll never have to take that form again after tomorrow night. My brain refuses to shut off. His ghostly fingers brush the top of my foot playfully. Unlike the other spirits, I can feel his touch somewhat, but it isn't as comforting as when he's in his physical form. 'Cause it tickles, I react by kicking. My foot goes straight through his hand. He chuckles, drawing his hand away. I've missed you so much. I know we've been together throughout the week, but never by ourselves? Yeah, my family refuses to leave me alone. It's refreshing. My family was nothing like yours. I believe my parents loved me and each other, but there was a lot of mistrust. For heaven's sake, my father doubted I was his son. I adjust my sitting position, swinging my feet to the floor and scooting closer to Shane. I rest my hand next to his on the cushion. Everything will change starting tomorrow, I say, smiling. He sighs. For better or for worse. I worry I haven't done enough and that the Creator knows I'll let you down in the future. I can't help but think that's why the curse hasn't broken. I understand how you feel. Eternal love is tricky to prove. I've been doubting myself too, even though I promised to be more optimistic. Then let's try to see ourselves through each other's eyes. I nod. We stay quiet after that, merely enjoying each other's company. When the sun rises and fills the library with light, I immediately take his hand and sling it around me before leaning my head against his arm. I snooze peacefully for about an hour before Fern storms into the room. I've found them, Fern shouts, startling me awake. Shane clicks his tongue and a look of disapproval crosses his face. He presses my body closer to his like he's preparing to protect me from a wild animal. I reciprocate by clinging to his white shirt. I don't want to be taken away from him. I can't believe this, Fern says, crossing her arms as she stands in front of us. It was challenging to get you in the same room before, and now look at you. And don't you know you're not supposed to see the bride before the wedding? That's a bunch of rubbish, and you know it, Shane protests. Just give us 5 more minutes. Master, I must request you release her. I turn away from Fern, burying my face in Shane's chest. So cozy, and I finally got some sleep. I don't want to be surrounded by prattling women for the next 12 hours. Arabelle. Not you too. Let go of him. Why are you both acting like children? Allow me, Ned's voice says. A pair of steel hands pry me away from Shane. I struggle at first, but then allow the possessed suit of armor to drag me to my feet. I guess I can't stay in my nightgown all day. I did want to wear my wedding dress after all. Begrudgingly, I part ways with Shane. Fortunately, time zooms once I return to my room. My sisters get to work on my hair and makeup while maids come in and out of the bedroom, asking my mother a million questions as they get everything ready in the chapel and castle grounds. Closer the evening gets, the more anxious I become. I take steady breaths, telling myself it will all be okay. Jenissa must have noticed because she boops my nose with the tip of her makeup brush. Hey, just focus on how gorgeous you are. Yeah, you're a queen, Arabelle. Miakimisina. They step back, allowing me to look at myself in the full-length mirror. As I requested, the dress features white roses. The skirt is paneled, and the lace trails up the middle section and spreads to the bottom edges. The neckline is heart-shaped, and the sleeves are transparent with the lacy rose design sprinkled in. The waist is a basque waistline, and of course the seamstress couldn't resist adding a bit of a train in the back. Then again, it might have been Mia and Janissa's idea because they helped the seamstress assemble it. Then Mia somehow tamed my curls and put it in a braided half-up style. To top it off, she strung white roses and daisies into the braids. No wonder I felt a million pins poking the back of my head. And as always, Janissa knew which tints best suited my skin tone. "I'm getting married," I whisper, finally taking my mind off the curse. I take my sister's hands. "I'm getting married." We squeal, bouncing on our bare feet. My mother rushes over to us, carrying my white shoes. "Ladies, calm down. Go put your shoes on." My sisters scramble to their slippers, struggling to put them on since their skirts are about as long as mine. Thankfully, my mom is there to help me. "Your father would be proud," she says, batting a tear away. "Ever since you girls were born, he was excited to walk you down the aisle." Fern drifts over to us and smiles. It's time. "Gil will take Arabelle from here." My mother nods. I watch everyone leave the room and I am left by myself. I turn back to the mirror, twirling in front of it. The anticipation returns, but my fears don't have time to settle as Gil enters. For once, his hair is tied back, which makes me grin. Gil lifts his arm for me to take. Before I loop my arm through his, I pick up the white roses Janissa continuously reminded me to take earlier that day. Together, we head to the private chapel on the lower floor. Spirits wait by the closed doors. I suck in a breath, one I intended to hold, but it escapes when Gil nudges me. "Hey, don't pass out on me. I won't catch you if you do." I laugh and just about tease him back, but the spirits vanish while the doors swing open. Soft music plays as we step onto the dark red carpet that leads to the altar. Shane's back is to us while my family, Sasha, the two young women, and a throng of spirits stand from the benches to look at us. My mother is already dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief while Sasha clings to Danny while she titters on her toes. Fern stands next to the altar, holding the rings while Ned is behind it, ready to officiate, which I had no idea he could do. Or maybe he begged to do it. Directly behind Ned is the beautiful stained glass window. Naturally, it features a red rose inside a dark circle. It is Effa's crest, and the light hits it just right so the rose reflects on the floor. Shane stays true to Effa's colors, wearing a black cape and tunic accented with dark red and silver. Gil guides me next to Shane and then sits beside my mother after he takes my bouquet. Shane fidgets, his fingers reaching out for mine. He finally clasps my hand and turns when Ned gives him the go-ahead. Shane's eyes slowly travel from the floor and up to my face as he soaks in every detail. He briefly tilts his head towards the ceiling and mutters something under his breath. Ned clears his throat, snapping Shane out of it. Shane blushes and guides me to one side of the altar. I kneel on the velvet cushion while Fern adjusts the dress train so it spreads elegantly behind me. Shane kneels across from me and Fern passes us the rings. Having seen Danny and Sasha get married, I know how the ceremony will proceed, so I keep Shane's silver ring in my right hand while his left hand grasps my left. I suppress a giggle when I glance up from our hands into his eyes. He also bites back a laugh. Under the Creator's light, Shane, son of Queen Vivian and Prince Cadale, kneels before Arabelle, daughter of Lord Edmund and Lady Anne. Together they will form a new family unit, cleaving to one another and none else. Shane, before these witnesses in heavens above, do you freely choose to protect, love, and remain faithful to Arabelle throughout all the eternities come happiness or sorrow? Shane lifts my hand and slides my dolefully missed ring onto my finger. "Yes," he says, smiling ear to ear. I can't look away from him even as Ned addresses me. I subconsciously rotate Shane's ring as I wait to promise to love him for eternity. Arabelle, before these witnesses in heavens above, do you freely choose to protect, love, and remain faithful to Shane throughout all the eternities come happiness or sorrow? I lift our hands and glide the silver ring into Shane's finger. "Yes. Together you have entered the most exalted union, husband and wife." Ned leans forward and whispers, "You may now kiss her, master." Shane presses his tongue against his teeth as he rolls his eyes at Ned's comment. We are fully aware that the ceremony is sealed with a kiss over the altar. As Shane cups my cheek and we lean forward, there is an audible silence while everyone sits on the edge of their seats. My heart pounds as I close my eyes and my lips connect with Shane's. I only back away when he does. Instead of a chorus of cheers, we look around the chapel at our guests. The staff gazes at each other or down at their hands, waiting to take physical forms. Nothing happens. When I breathe in, I struggle to keep my sobs at bay. After all that, we still haven't proven our love to the Creator? Do we really have to wait until the last petal falls? Before anyone can start pointing fingers, Shane stands with an air of authority surrounding him. My friends, all will be well. At midnight, we will be freed. There is stillness and then a multitude of cheers. Shane looks at me and I can tell he's apprehensive. He is saying all of this for them and for me. I silently thank him with my eyes as he helps me stand. We walk down the aisle and head outside where the sun sets. Everyone follows us, and we meet with guests we invited to the reception. They stand tentatively on the other side of the barrier. The wolf spirits pace in front of them, and I wonder how so many people are patiently waiting to enter the haunted grounds. The staff lights hundreds of lanterns placed on circular tables and in trees. With this much light, Shane will remain human even after the sun has gone down. People filter in once the sun departs and the barrier is lifted. The first brave group to enter is Sasha's family and Emmett. Everyone else walks behind them. They openly gawk at the staff as the glowing staff members pass out drinks and food. Shane stands and raises his glass once everyone is seated at a table. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Many will remember this day for years to come for various reasons. As for me, I will remember it as the day I'm eternally united with the woman I love. Shane gazes down at me and holds my hand. Whatever happens, I know this will be the best day of my life. A toast for today. Today, the crowd sings as they raise their glasses. I take a sip of my drink as I reflect on his words. He's happy knowing we're married, and it is for eternity. When Shane sits and everyone's distracted by the food and cake, I set my glass down and kiss him briefly. I remain close, stroking his cheek with my thumb. Whatever happens, I'll love you forever. He shifts my hand over his lips, kissing it. I smile and then we eat while we can.